Hi guys, welcome to Cocinando con los Wits. Today I'm gonna show you how to make these delicious albóndigas. It's a meatball soup, very traditional in Mexico, and it's super delicious. We are going to make the traditional ones that have the chipotle sauce, the chipotle flavor, but I'm also going to make some without chipotle because I have some kids that don't like spicy. So if you have somebody at home that doesn't like spicy, you don't have to add chipotle, or you can just take some out before adding the chipotle. And we're just gonna accompany this dish with lime and tortillas. Delicious. Okay, let's start. These are the ingredients that we are going to need to make our meatball soup or albóndigas. And I am going to divide the ingredients, how we're gonna use them step by step. So the first step that we're gonna do is we're gonna make the sauce to make the broth. And we are going the soup, and we are going to need first tomatoes, half an onion, 2 garlic cloves, and a spoon of chicken bouillon, or you can use salt too. And we're gonna use some water to make the soup, and we're gonna use some chipotles. And this one is optional. It's so delicious, the chipotles albóndigas, but it's optional. If you don't like spicy, you don't have to use it. Okay, so in the first step, we're just gonna blend all these together in the blender to start making our soup, the broth where we're gonna cook the albóndigas. The next step is gonna be to get our meatballs ready, the albóndigas ready. So I have here around 2 pounds of ground beef. I'm gonna use half a cup of rice. Just any rice. I like to use Jasmine rice because it's super soft. So half a cup of rice, salt as needed. If you don't like salt, don't add salt. Garlic powder or ground garlic, black pepper. And here I already chopped very finely half an onion and 2 pieces of the mint, 2 little branches like this. I already chopped it here, it's ready, and 2 eggs. And all these ingredients, we're gonna add them to the meat to make the meatballs. Okay, after we're done with that, we are going to get the vegetables ready that we're gonna add to the soup. And I have 2 Italian squash or zucchini. I have 2 potatoes, 2 chayote squash, 2 carrots, and we're gonna add 2 little branches of mint. And that's gonna be the last step. And when all that is ready, is when we're gonna add the chipotle to the albóndigas. Okay? Okay, let's start. Okay, for the first step, I'm gonna add the tomato and the onion to the blender and the garlic. I already cut the tomato and the onion in little squares, and I'm gonna add it to the blender. I forgot to tell you, I wash and clean and disinfected everything first, so make sure you do that. So I'm just gonna add the garlics to the blender, and I'm gonna add the onion and the tomatoes and the chicken bouillon, and I'm gonna start blending everything. Okay, I added everything. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water so it blends easier, and I'm gonna blend it. Okay, we're done blending the sauce and it's ready, and you have to blend it very finely because we want everything to be well blended. Okay, the sauce is blended. The next step is to get a pot and add some oil to fry the salsa. Just around 2 spoons of oil. Okay, the oil is hot already, so I'm gonna start pouring the tomato sauce. And I'm gonna fry it a little bit. I'm gonna let it fry in there. I added all the sauce to the oil, and I'm gonna let it cook a little bit. It's frying with the oil before I add the water, so all the flavors come out for our soup, albondiga soup. Okay, I added the water to my broth, and I added around 3/4 of a gallon of water, and I left enough room in my pot because remember that we're gonna add the vegetables and we're gonna add the meatballs, so you need to leave enough room to put all that in there. I will say like a little bit more than half. Don't make it too full. Okay guys, the next step is to let this broth, this soup boil, and while it boils I'm gonna start making my meatballs, my albondigas, so I can add them to the broth when it starts boiling. Okay guys, the next step is to start adding all the ingredients to the meat to start making the meatballs. So I'm gonna add the rice and the onion, the mint, the garlic powder, the black pepper, the salt, and the eggs. Okay guys, I added everything. Now I'm just gonna start mixing everything. Make sure your hands are super clean because we're gonna do all these steps by hand. Okay guys, just make sure that everything is completely mixed together so everything has good flavors before you start making the meatballs. Okay, I mixed everything very good with the meat. Now I'm gonna start making my albondigas, my meatballs, and usually they make them around the size of a golf ball, which is around that, but you can actually make them any size you want. I'm gonna make some that are a little bit smaller too because my kids love when I make the small meatballs. Okay, I'm making them and I'm just putting them here on a tray just to have them ready to put them on the broth. So I have them here on a tray. Let's see how many we're gonna make with this meat. I'm making some small and some big, so we're gonna have a lot of them. Okay guys, the meatballs are ready and they look delicious. I have 35 meatballs. They're different sizes, like I said. One is trying to escape. They are small and big. This is how we like them because the kids love the little small albondigas. So let's go with the next step, which is to put them in the broth. It's already boiling, the soup. So let's go. That didn't want to stay. Okay guys, I have the meatballs ready. The soup is boiling, so I'm gonna start adding them to the soup. And this step is very important. Make sure it's boiling before you start adding them, and that's how they're gonna hold together and not break apart. So I'm gonna just start putting them in there, all of them. Just be careful that the broth doesn't burn you. You can use like tongs or a spatula, whatever is easier for you. I just like to do it with my hands. Okay guys, this is when I like to add the mint too. Remember we left 2 branches of mint, so I'm gonna add them right now when it's boiling. Okay, now I'm gonna leave it in high and I'm gonna let it boil for around 20 minutes. While I'm doing this, I'm gonna start with the next step, which is to get the vegetables ready. And I'm doing this first because the meat takes a little bit longer to cook and we want to make sure that the albondigas are well done. Okay guys, we're gonna start getting the vegetables ready. I'm gonna peel the carrots, the potatoes, and the chayote. And I'm just gonna cut the squash on little squares. And these are gonna be like big pieces. We need them to be bigger pieces, not like very small pieces, I guess. Okay guys, the albondigas have been boiling for around 5 minutes. I'm gonna just put the heat in medium and it's gonna still be boiling for around 15 minutes before we add the vegetables. Okay guys, I'm done peeling the vegetables. I'm just gonna start cutting them, and I like to remove the ends of the squash. And you can cut it in circles, or I just like to cut them like this, half. And like I said, the pieces need to be a little bit big, not too small. So around that size. Okay guys, the meatballs, the albondigas have been here for 20 minutes and they are almost ready. Now I'm gonna add the vegetables to the pot. Okay guys, I added all the vegetables in here and I put my heat in high again, so it starts heating faster and starts boiling again. Then after that, it's gonna take around 5 to 10 minutes. We're gonna check in 5 minutes to see if the carrots and the vegetables are soft enough, if they're done, and that's it. Okay guys, it has been around 7 minutes and I had it in high boiling, and the albondigas are ready and the vegetables are ready. Just to double check, I'm just gonna check that everything is perfectly. The fork goes through the carrots and the potatoes and the chayote squash. So everything is ready, and we're gonna start with the final step. And I wait until here because I have kids that don't like spicy, and we're gonna add the chipotles right here and let it boil for 5 more minutes. But before I add the chipotles, I'm going to take out some for my kids, and I'm just gonna put them in this little pot so they can have some without the chipotle. So I took out already some for my kids, and I have half over here. So now I'm gonna add the chipotles to this one, the big pot, and I'm just gonna add them like this, and I'm gonna let them boil for around 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, the albondigas are boiling for around 3 to 5 more minutes, just to let the flavor of the chipotle come out. And as you can see, it turned a little bit more darker. And they're ready, so let's start making our plate. Okay guys, la sopa de albóndigas, caldo de albóndigas, the meatball soup is ready. Look how delicious it looks. This is the one that has the chipotles. You can even serve the chipotles if you want, if you like spicy. And it's super soft and delicious. The meatballs are perfect. They are soft, but they're not falling apart. They kept the shape, so they're perfectly. We made these ones with the chipotle and these ones that are without chipotle for the people that don't like spicy, like my kids. And they are super delicious. They have super good flavor. I made the smaller ones, as you can see, for my kids. And I made the bigger ones for the adults. You can make all small, all big. It doesn't really matter. But they're ready. And of course, we are going to have some tortillas with our albondigas soup. And we're gonna add some lime to the soup too. I can't wait to eat it. It smells so good. Okay guys, the meatball soup is ready. It's so delicious. And I like to eat it with tortilla, of course, and I can't wait to taste it. So I'm gonna taste a little broth. And I'm just gonna dip my tortilla in here. Let's try the meatball, the albondiga. Super good and tasty, has super good flavor. As you can see, the texture is perfect. The rice is cooked perfectly inside. I love it. Enjoy. Okay guys, we have this soup with tortillas and lime and it's ready. Enjoy. Please don't forget to subscribe to Cocinando con los Tiwits. They are perfect, they are delicious, and they're not falling apart. I already tasted this one. I cut it in half and look how soft it is. And it's not falling apart, but it's super soft and delicious.